नमस्कार। हम हैं आदित्य और सौम्या।
और आपका स्वागत है घटना चक्र के इस नए और ज्ञानवर्धक सफर में।
Have you ever paused to consider the sheer energy that fuels, well, everything in your body?
Yeah, I mean, from the tiniest blink to a complex thought.
Exactly. Where does that fundamental spark actually come from?
It's a great question.
Today we're doing a deep dive into the very core of what makes us tick. We're heading into the engine room inside your cells.
And we've got some incredible source material for this one. It really spans the gamut, from the biological basics right up to the absolute cutting edge of medical science today.
It's fascinating.
Oh, it is. It should give you a real sense of the complexity and, frankly, the uniqueness of life at this tiny scale.
So our focus for this deep dive, mitochondria. Everyone calls them the powerhouse of the cell, right?
It's the name they've earned, yes.
And our mission today is to unpack why. Why that title? What makes them so different? And why are scientists so focused on them right now?
We'll try to cover all that.
Now, hopefully by the end, you'll have a really solid grasp of these cellular dynamos without getting bogged down in too much jargon.
That's the plan.
Okay, so let's jump right in. When we say powerhouse, what does that actually mean? What are mitochondria doing day to day in the cell?
Right. Well, it really all boils down to energy, specifically making a molecule called ATP.
ATP.
Adenosine triphosphate. Mitochondria are pretty much the dedicated factories for generating this stuff.
And ATP is important because...
It's absolutely critical. It's the energy-rich molecule needed for, well, practically every single bodily function. Think of it like the universal energy currency for the cell.
Like digital cash only the cell can use.
Exactly, something like that. It fuels everything from muscle contractions to nerve signals. Without a constant supply of ATP, the whole system just stops.
Okay, so if ATP is this vital currency, how do the mitochondria actually make it? How does that conversion work?
Well, they do it through a really efficient process. It's called cellular respiration.
Cellular respiration.
Essentially, mitochondria take fuels like glucose from the food you eat, and they need oxygen too. That's crucial. They use these inputs to chemically convert that fuel into ATP.
It's a continuous process.
Absolutely continuous. It has to be. It's just non-negotiable for life as we know it. It's a remarkable bit of, well, biological engineering, really.
Which explains the powerhouse name.
Precisely.
And that really highlights how specialized they are, doesn't it? Because a cell is packed with other components, other organelles.
Oh, absolutely. It's a busy place.
So you have things like lysosomes, the Golgi bodies. Are they involved in energy production too, or is it truly exclusive to mitochondria?
That's a really important distinction. No, the others have very different jobs. Lysosomes, for instance, they handle waste disposal. They're full of enzymes for breaking things down.
Sometimes called suicidal bags, I've read.
Yeah, that's a nickname they have because of those enzymes. And the Golgi apparatus, that's more involved in processing and packaging proteins.
Okay.
And the endoplasmic reticulum helps make proteins and lipids. None of them are really focused on generating that main energy currency, the ATP.
So that large-scale ATP production, that's the mitochondrian's unique gig.
That's its domain, yes. Uniquely and definitively. No other organelle has that specific machinery for churning out energy constantly.
Now, here's something I find really interesting and maybe something listeners don't always realize. These powerhouses, they aren't in all living cells, are they?
You're absolutely right. That's a key point. Mitochondria are specific to what we call eukaryotic cells.
Eukaryotic, so that's animals, plants.
Animals, plants, fungi, protists, basically cells with a defined nucleus and other organelles. But you won't find mitochondria in prokaryotes.
Prokaryotes being like bacteria.
Exactly. Bacteria and archaea. They're simpler cells structurally, and they generate energy differently. So, yeah, it's a fundamental difference in cell types.
And it gets even more fascinating, I think, when you realize these tiny powerhouses have their own DNA.
They do.
It's almost like a little cell living inside our cells.
That's a great way to think about it, actually. Yes, they have their own genetic material. It's called mitochondrial DNA, or mtDNA.
mtDNA.
And it's a really critical part of what makes them unique.
Yeah.
It contains the blueprint for some of their own essential proteins and functions.
So, like, if our main DNA in the nucleus is the big operating system,
Yeah.
.mtDNA is like special firmware just for the power supply.
That's a fantastic analogy. Yes, it's like a dedicated instruction manual just for the mitochondrion itself. It's pretty wild.
It really is.
And, it's worth pointing out, while it's unique in animal cells, mitochondria aren't the only organelles out there with this kind of feature.
Oh.
If you look at the bigger picture, particularly in plants, you have organelles called plastids. Chloroplasts are a type of plastid.
Light for photosynthesis.
Exactly. And both mitochondria and plastids have their own DNA, and remarkably, they can replicate themselves to some extent independently of the main cell division.
Wow. So it's a shared trait there.
It suggests a deep shared evolutionary past. It's a fascinating parallel in how complex eukaryotic cells might have evolved.
Incredible stuff. It really points to some fundamental biology. So, okay, bringing this to the present. What does all this mean for science and medicine today? How is this knowledge being used?
Well, this is where things get really exciting. Mitochondria are absolutely central to a huge amount of research right now. Scientists increasingly recognize their role not just in energy, but in overall health, and crucially, in many diseases.
Such as?
Well, things like neurodegenerative diseases, heart disease, aging itself. There are strong mitochondrial links, which is why, for example, you have major events focusing purely on them.
Like conferences.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The 16th World Congress on Targeting Mitochondria is coming up October 22nd to 24th, 2025 in Berlin. It's organized by the World Mitochondria Society.
So a big deal in the field.
A very big deal. It brings together the top experts from around the globe. They share the latest breakthroughs in areas like mitochondrial therapy.
Therapy, so fixing mitochondria.
Essentially, yes. Finding ways to restore function to damaged mitochondria. Also, gene therapy, specifically targeting that mtDNA we talked about. And even things like mitochondrial transplantation, literally moving healthy mitochondria into cells that need them. The potential for treating chronic conditions is just immense.
And speaking of cutting-edge stuff, you mentioned gene therapy. How does something like CRISPR fit in? Is that technology being used with mitochondria?
Yes, it is. CRISPR-Cas9, the gene editing tool,
Right.
is now being adapted and utilized to make precise edits to mitochondrial DNA itself.
Directly editing the mtDNA.
Directly. This ability to make targeted changes is opening up completely new possibilities, especially for tackling genetic diseases that are directly caused by faults in the mtDNA.
That sounds revolutionary.
It really is. Imagine being able to go in and correct the faulty blueprint in the cell's power factory, the potential for new treatments, maybe even cures for some conditions. It's genuinely breathtaking.
What an absolutely fascinating deep dive. So just to recap for everyone listening.
Yeah.
We've seen mitochondria as these undisputed energy creators, right? Churning out ATP.
The cell's essential currency.
We've explored their really unique status, having their own DNA, that mtDNA, setting them apart, but also sharing that trait with plastids.
A hint at their ancient origins.
And it's crystal clear they are pivotal in modern science, driving research into new therapies, gene editing, potentially changing medicine.
Absolutely. They're at the heart of so much discovery right now.
So thinking about all that, what's the final thought you'd leave our listeners with?
Well, maybe consider the really profound implications here. We're not just understanding the powerhouse of the cell anymore. We're starting to figure out how to potentially tinker with it.
Right.
So what does that truly mean for our future health? Our ability to fight complex diseases, think Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, many cancers, often have mitochondrial links. Could we optimize energy, maybe even affect healthy aging?
Huge questions.
Huge questions. We are really just scratching the surface of what manipulating these tiny, incredibly powerful engines inside us might make possible. It's a fundamental level of biology we're starting to engage with.
A truly fascinating frontier. Definitely something to keep thinking about. Keep connecting those dots and keep diving deep into this amazing world of cellular biology.